to be making some pinch pots. And if you played with clay, you've probably made a pinch pot before. But we're going to learn the best way to make a pinch pot, and so the best techniques to make it. And people have been making pinch pots for a really long time. So we're carrying on like a really long tradition of making these pinch pots. And pinch pots are a great pot to start with because all we need are our hands. We don't need any other tools to make pinch pots. And so that's really cool. There's not many art forms that you can just use your hand and that's it. That's all you need. So did you guys look at the curriculum with all the different pictures of pinch pots? Yeah. So although it's really simple and easy to make a pinch pot, there are some fine artists who make pinch pots as a living and sell them, and they're very beautiful. So you can achieve some amazing results with just something super simple. So first we're going to get out some clay, okay, to work with. Okay.
Joaquin is just joining right now.
Okay.
You'll probably see him pop up in just a second.
Okay.
Can you open the clay?
Yeah.
There you go.
So you guys take your clay, and you're going to need this little tool. It looks like a wire on some sticks. It's called a wire cutter.
Are you paying attention?
And this is going to help us cut our clay. Yours might be wrapped up in like a small little thing if you just get it out. You have to like untangle it a little bit.
Untangle.
We've got it.
Joaquin.
Hi, Joaquin. I'm Jess. I'm so glad you're joined us. Nice to see you.
Joaquin, grab your clay, and there's a little tool in there that's like looks like a long wire with 2 pieces of wood on the end. Okay?
Okay.
So that's what we're starting with. She's going to show you how to cut your clay. Okay?
Okay. So when you open your bag, your parents might want to help you. You're just going to like roll down your plastic. Okay. Roll it down and pull it down past the clay so you can get them out. Okay, so what we're going to do with our tool is we're going to kind of wrap it around our hand. I like to wrap it a little bit to kind of make it shorter. It's really long, and it's easier if you just wrap it around your hand. Okay, so then you're going to take it, and don't get too much at first because a lot of clay at first is really hard to manage, and it requires a lot of muscles too. So just get a little bit of clay, and you're going to put it on one side of your clay, and with your hands you're going to pull back, and the wire is going to go through the clay and cut off a slice. And then you can take that piece of clay.
It's only working with a slice.
All you need to do is cut it.
That. Do you need me to show you again? Got it, Joaquin? Thumbs up.
Oh, yes. Okay, you're going to put the clay. Yeah.
Got it, Madeline. Awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
So I put it down?
Yep, you can just put it down, and if you want, you can just start making like a little ball.
Oh, sorry.
And if it's too big, you can just tear a piece off and just work with part of it. If it's too much clay.
That's good. Okay, over.
For our pinch pots, we are not going to need a lot of clay. Okay,
It feels like rock.
how you guys doing? Everyone got their clay? Archie, Crocker, and Sawyer, you got it? Awesome, Joaquin. Okay, all right, now it's really important before we start making anything to wedge our clay. It's kind of like kneading dough. But actually, before we start doing that, it's a good idea to close up your bag of clay so it doesn't dry out. So I like to just twist it. If you have a twisty tie, you can put the twisty tie back. Okay. Get ready? So it's probably best to stand up while you're wedging your clay, so that you can like put your body weight on it. All right. What we do when we wedge is we're going to pull our clay up, lift it up, and then push with like this part of our hand. Okay, the back part of our hand. So we're going to pull it up, push, pull it up, push. Okay? So if you have yours in a ball, that's great. You can also just throw it down on the table a few times to kind of make it into a little square.
Oh,
Yeah, really throw it down. Okay, so we want kind of like this shape. You don't want it to be flat to start with. How you guys doing? Got it? Okay, you guys ready?
Almost.
Yeah, throw it down just to make it into like a ball or a square. Okay.
Rectangle.
Yeah, or a rectangle, that's fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull up our clay a little bit so it's kind of tilted. You see how it's not like flat on the ground, it's kind of tilted. And then I'm going to push away from me with this part of my hand. And this is why you probably need to stand up, because it looks small, but it requires a lot of muscles. Okay, so your clay will look like this. You don't want to flatten it too much because then that'll make it hard to wedge it. So just a little bit. All right, and then
Be in a circle.
what we're going to do is we're going to lift it up again with our fingers to where it's tilted again. Okay, see that? Oh, it's tilted. Did we lose someone, Kristen? Did we lose Archie and Sawyer? Okay, you guys ready? So we're gonna lift it up and then kind of like push down and out again. And see how it kind of made this like little ridge? We're going to keep making these little ridges every time we do it. Okay, so we're gonna lift it up, tilt it, put our palms on the top, and push down and out. And then we make like another little ridge. Lift it. Push it down and out. Lift it. You can kind of cup it in your hands so it doesn't get too spread out. You're just going to keep doing that over and over. We're going to do it a lot of times. It's important to wedge your clay to get all the air bubbles out. Okay, because we don't want any air pockets in our clay when we fire it in the kiln. And it also helps all the water to be evenly distributed into our clay. So they call this method of wedging clay the ram's head method because it kind of looks like someone's head, like an animal's head when you do it. They say it looks like a ram's head. Okay, so your clay should kind of look like that. Kind of like it has a nose, and if I put a ball here for his eye and a ball here for his eye, be like a little ram head. You guys see that? So that's what your clay should look like. So I'm going to show you what our clay's doing. I'm going to put this piece of clay on the top here, and we're going to watch it rotate around. Okay, so it moved from the top a little bit further down, and it keeps moving a little bit further down. Now it's all the way down on the tip of his nose. And now it's all the way down there, and it's going to go underneath the clay. As we keep doing it. How are you guys doing? Can I see your ram head? How do they look? They look like little ram heads. Wedging takes some practice to get it. Oh, awesome, Carolina. That looks great. Good job, Julia. You guys you're doing a great job. Let me see. Joaquin, do you have yours? Awesome, that looks great. Okay, so we're just gonna keep doing that a few more times. And then when you think it's all ready, we're going to just add in these sides, okay, so they don't stick out so much. Okay, and then we're just gonna roll our clay on our table very lightly so it kind of smooths it all out. Okay, you guys see that? So now there's no ridges or anything. It's all just one smooth piece of clay. Okay, and hopefully that took care of all of our air pockets. Hopefully we don't have any air pockets. And now our clay is ready to use. So anytime you want to make something, you should always wedge your clay first. All right? You guys got it? How are we doing? You doing okay, Joaquin? Awesome. Okay, good job, Madeline. All right, so now this is probably too much clay. This is too much clay for me even. Okay, so I want you to kind of just tear off some of your clay. It's really fun to do.
Gonna have a little bit.
Tear off a little piece. And I want you to have a piece of clay that's about the size of a lemon or a lime.
Do you have a question? Do you have a question, Crocker?
Yeah. The internet was really bad. We got kicked out, and we didn't get to do the other steps.
Okay, so your video went out?
Yeah, their internet went out. They're back on though now.
Okay. Okay, let me show you. So you guys have your clay, right? And it's like in a ball or a square. And it looks out like that, your clay. Okay, we're going to stand up so we can really get above our clay. Okay, and we're going to wedge it by, we're going to pull up and then push down. So we're going to pull up with our fingers and we're going to push with this part up our palm. Okay, so we're going to pull it up so it's a little tilted, and then we're going to push, and we don't want to push it too flat. Okay, and then we're going to pull it up to where it's tilted. Do you guys see how that's tilted? And then we're going to put our palms on that top part and push down and out again. And we're just going to keep doing that. You tilt it up, push down and out. And you can kind of cup your clay if it's getting too wide, and kind of bring it in a little bit more. Okay, you guys got it? And we're just going to keep doing that. Pulling up, and out. Pulling up, pushing out. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to it. And if it's too much, if it's too hard, you might have too much clay. So you can always use less clay and it'll be easier to knead. Okay, and then I was telling the other kids that this is sometimes called the ram's head method, because if you do it right, you get this like weird shape. It kind of looks like a nose here, and then you can put like a little eyeball there and an eyeball there, and it kind of looks like a ram's head. You guys see that? Okay, so you just keep doing that until you think it's pretty well kneaded. There's no air bubbles left. And then we're going to kind of tap on the sides when we're all done. And then we're going to gently roll out our clay. It's nice and smooth. Okay, so it looks like that. Okay, see that? And that's all we did. Okay. All right, so then when you got it, your clay might be too much. So I want you to pull it apart and only have a little bit. And I want you to have a ball of clay about the size of a lemon or a lime. No bigger than an orange. That looks good, Leah. Okay, so we can just kind of form that into a little ball, packing it together. Okay, you guys ready? So I'm going to show you first what to do, and then you guys can follow me, okay? So for this part, I just want you to watch me. Archie and Sawyer and Crocker, are you guys ready? Or did their internet go out again? Uh-oh.
It looks like their internet went out again. I'll just wait for them to hop back on.
Okay.
I see Crocker.
Yeah, there's one. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're going to push our thumb down in the middle of our ball. I just want you to watch for right now, okay? So our thumb is inside the clay, and I want you to go about halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway. Don't go all the way to the bottom, because then you'll have a hole. Okay? So my little thumb made this little beginning of our pinch pot. Okay?
Hold on. Okay.
And then I'm going to show you with a flat piece of clay what we're going to do next. It's kind of hard to see what I'm doing inside the pot. But with your thumb inside the pot, working from the bottom first. Okay, we're going to work from the bottom very slowly. We're going to turn it and turn it and turn it and work our way up to the top. So this is what we're going to do. So our thumb's inside the pot and our fingers are on the outside like this. Okay, and we're going to slightly press them together and slide our thumb. Okay, and then we're going to turn our pot and do it again, and turn our pot and do it again. And we're not really squeezing too tight. We don't want our walls too thin, okay? You don't want your clay any thinner than the thickness of your pinky, okay? It should be thick, because otherwise our walls of our pot could collapse. Okay, so we're going to like slide our thumb along our fingers and kind of slightly compress the clay between them. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So you guys can go ahead and push your thumb down inside your pot about halfway or a little more than halfway. And then working from the bottom, you want to do this nice and slow. You're not going to get it to the thickness you want the first time. You're probably going to have to go around a few times. Because if we go too fast, then what will happen is our pot will open up into like this shape and our walls might collapse. And we'd have to start over. So we want our walls to stay upright. We're going to go nice and slow and just kind of smooth the clay in between your thumb and your finger. And once you get the bottom of the pot to be about the thickness that you want. Yeah, Julia, do you have a question?
Yes, my pot is cracking. Is that bad at all?
Well, no, it's not bad, but what you could use is some water, because your clay might just be a little dry from handling it. So if, like you can see, my clay is cracking as well. So you can get some water. I have some water on my finger and just rub it. Okay, and then just smooth it out. So yeah, it's good to have some water. How are you doing, Joaquin? You doing good? Good. Okay. And then once you get the bottom, you can start working in the middle, doing the same thing. You don't want it too thin. And if you make a hole or it gets too thin, you can always just start over and make your clay into a ball again. Okay, so I'm just rotating while I'm sliding the clay in between my thumb and my fingers. And I don't put the pot on the table while I'm doing it. It's like in my other hand. So my other hand is kind of helping too. How you guys doing? You doing good, Sam? Sam? How you doing? Awesome. That looks good. Looks great. Oh, you're doing great, Madeline. Looks great. So nice and slow, working our way up to the top of our pot. Just rotating it while we're pinching it a little bit. Very gentle with our clay, huh? Yep, and you can just add some water if your clay is getting too dry and cracking. How you guys doing? Coming out good? Great, Madeline. And you can kind of feel, if you go around your pot, you can kind of feel if some of your walls are thicker than other parts or thinner than other parts, and you can kind of smooth those out so they're even. So all the walls of your pot are an even thickness.
Right in the middle, so I could dry it off of him.
No, that's fine. We don't need to wash your hands off.
You doing good, Sawyer? Crocker, you doing good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those look great. Okay. So once you get your little pot and it's all ready to go, you like the shape and the walls are the right thickness, you can place it down on your table and kind of tap it a little bit, and it'll make this flat bottom. So it has like this nice little foundation. Good. Okay. Anyone need help? Julia, did you have to restart?
Yes, 3 times.
3 times. Yeah, sometimes it's a little tricky, right? That's okay though. You'll get it. You'll get better and better each time you try it. It takes some patience and some practice, huh?
Yep.
And we're not going to get it perfect the first time. Okay.
Come on. Oh my goodness, Mom. Oh my goodness.
How's it coming out, Madeline? It looks great. Looks like a good shape.
It looks like a cylinder.
Yeah, it looks great. Carolina, I don't see yours. How's yours coming out? Oh, looks awesome. Good job. Very good job. And sometimes when it's uneven, it's okay. It's okay if it's a little uneven because we can cut those off and make it even at the end. Oh, look, that looks awesome, Sam. Very good job. Joaquin, how's yours? How's yours turning out? Ooh, that's beautiful. Very good job. Isn't it fun to feel the clay in your hands? I love clay. Get my hands dirty.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, huh?
Yep.
Okay, so once you get a pot that you're really happy with and proud of, if you want, we can even out the top. Do you guys have a tool like this? This is called your needle tool. You have to be careful because it's very pokey on the end. It usually comes with a little plastic piece to protect you. So don't run with this or anything. So what you can do to even out the top is you can start just drawing with your needle tool, like this line around. Around the top of your pot. You can even go all the way through to the other side. You can see that. And it's just going to cut the top off. You guys see that? So now a little more even. You can eye it from the side and then what you can do is we don't want any of these sharp edges, because once we go to fire this, those sharp edges are going to be even sharper. So you can take your sponge or even just your finger and get some water and kind of smooth those edges.
After I'm done. Oh, whenever you're done with this.
Oh. You can even pinch your fingers. Your fingers are like the best tool for everything in ceramics. And it'll just create that like nice little rounded edge. Okay, you guys see that? Now it's nice and round and no sharp edges. And then what we can do, if you guys want to add like a little handle or even make your cup into like an animal, like you could put a little unicorn head over here and its tail and little legs. Okay, we can add some clay to it to make it really fun. So you can get some more of your clay that we took off and you can shape it into whatever you'd like. I'm just gonna shape mine into a ball. I roll it in my palms. Okay, before we add any clay to clay, we have to do something called scoring.
I know how.
You know how to score? That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. Because what will happen is if I put this piece of clay onto here, it's not going to stay. You see it just fell right off. Okay? And once I go to fire this in the kiln, it will likely just break off very easily. Okay? So we can get our little needle tool again. It's a very useful tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to make these little lines in our clay. And they're going to act as like little suction cups. Like octopuses have little suction cups to grab onto stuff. That's what we're doing. We're creating little octopus suction cups. Okay, and I go one way, and then I turn it, and I go another way. So they kind of cross hatch over each other. You guys see that? And then we're going to get some water with our finger. And we're just going to rub some water on it. And that kind of makes like a wet clay. It's called a slip. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with the side that we want to put it on. So if I want my little ball to go right here, then I've also got to score that area. Okay. And I can wet that area as well. Then, when I go to put them together, I'm going to just wiggle it just a little bit.
Okay, take it in water.
Put them together.
Yeah.
Now, that piece of clay is not going to come off. It's like they're joined together.
So what do you want?
Okay? So you can make whatever you want to add to your pot. Just make sure to score and slip.
Yes. Score 2 and put water in there too. Yeah, she said score the cup. And then
Score and slip. Yeah, some low water will make the clay into a slip. It's like glue for ceramics. What are you guys going to use your little pinch pot for? It can be like a little cup. You can drink some water out of it. Or you can put stickers, a little sticker holder. Or you could plant a little plant in there. There's lots of things you could do. You guys have any idea what you want to use yours for?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I would use mine for a cup.
For a cup?
Yeah.
Awesome. Carolina, did you say something?
I said mine too. I want mine to be for a cup too.
Awesome. That's a great idea. That'll be fun. Have a little hot cocoa in your cup. So before we're able to put liquid in this, we have to put it in a kiln, which is like an oven for ceramics. It gets very, very, very hot. And it bakes the clay to where there's no water in it anymore, or almost no water. And then after that, we paint it with what's called a glaze. And a glaze is kind of like liquid glass, so that when we put it in the kiln again, it turns into this glassy surface and will keep all the water out of your clay. And then you can drink out of it.
What are we using?
How you doing, Joaquin? Good? Are you adding something to your pot? Oh, you added a ball too. Awesome. It'll make a nice little handle, huh? Hold your cup with. If you want, if you have time, you have more clay and you can make another one. You can make another little pinch pot. Okay, and then you can make something different this time. So I kind of make it into a ball. I push my thumb in there about halfway. And you're going to gently start rotating and pinching. Very gently. From the bottom up. Awesome, Sam. I love that.
I made mine into a little turtle who accidentally got flipped.
Oh, that is so creative, Julia. I love him. He is so cute.
Thank
That
you.
is such a fun idea.
It would be cool.
I want a little turtle too.
So if you want, we can flip it back over. It'll just be a That's cute.
And yeah, you guys can just use your tool, or do you see this like little ribbed part of your needle tool? You can even use it to press a pattern into your clay. You'll want to do it very carefully and maybe even support the wall of your clay. I don't know if you guys can see that texture or not. Or you can use your needle tool to draw. You can make lines. You can write your name or draw a design.
Lines. And here.
There's lots of options. The options are endless. One thing I love about clay. If you guys want, you could even write your name on the bottom so everyone knows it's yours. Kind of like an artist signing their piece. Signing your piece on the bottom.
That's cool. I like it.
What are you making, Madeline?
No, just a regular cup.
You're making a cup?
Just trying to.
Trying to. You're doing great. And the nice thing about clay is if you want to start over, you just ball it back up and start over.
That's my mom's.
Oh, wow, I love it. That looks great.
Sort of.
So fun. I love all the textures. Yeah, I think Sam used the back end of his needle tool. Is that what you used to make little holes? Little imprint? Circles all over this pot?
And then I drew a line around the whole thing.
That's awesome.
Needle.
See, he did that.
Wow.
How are you doing, Madeline?
Just gonna restart.
You're going to restart? That's okay. Every time we work with clay, we kind of get to know it a little better.
Yeah.
And we learn what we can do and what we probably shouldn't do. Yeah, my little pot. Yes, Sam.
What is the sponge in a bag for?
The sponge, you can use that sponge to smooth out the top edge of your pot. We'll be using the sponge more on our later projects. But if you have any hard edges, you can use the sponge to smooth it instead of using your fingers. or if your clay is getting dry, you can gently add some water with the sponge. You can even put the sponge on the inside and twist it all around, and it'll smooth the inside of your pot perfectly. So it's nice and smooth. Yeah, and that is probably easier to do with the sponge than with your finger.
I want to do it. Good.
Team, did you start another pot? No? You're still working on your other one? Did you add some more details? I want to see it.
I'm still trying to get the thing to stick there, but it won't.
The little ball?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's not sticking, just rescore it again. Lines up and down. I better. You go up the little lines, and they can be pretty deep. They don't have to be really shallow lines. Do you see how deep these ones are?
Oh.
I guess I'm kind of like a statue right there.
Yeah, deeper is probably better than just little lines. Okay, and then you can go the other way and it like really roughens that up.
Okay.
And then do that on the other side that you want to attach it to. And then you're going to use water. Water is really important. You don't need a whole lot of it, but just a little to add to that surface. And you do that to both sides. So it kind of creates this glue on there. It's called slip. And then when you stick them together, this might also help to kind of twist it back and forth. Just wiggle it just a little bit. Not too much.
So once you put the score on, what do you do with the water?
You're just going to put the water and smooth it on there. Here, I'll show you again. So here's my scores, and I'm just going to put my water on there. Put a little water on there. And you see how it's kind of wet?
Yeah.
And that clay has become really wet in that area. And that's what we call slip, is when clay gets really, really wet, it becomes slip. And it's like glue.
Mm.
And then we're going to attach it to our other piece of clay when we do that with both sides. And you can support the back side with your hand so that when you're pushing them together and smoothing them, it doesn't push in the wall of your pot.
Oh.
This one cup would be good.
How you guys doing? Madeline, did you get another pinch pot made?
No, not yet.
Not working? Do you want me to go over it again with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to want to get your clay into a nice ball again. And if your clay's too wet, it might also make it harder to work with. Okay, so we don't want our clay too wet either, because then water starts to break down the clay and it doesn't hold its shape as easily. If your clay's too wet, you can just rub it in, roll it in your hands for a while, and your hands will naturally absorb some of that water. Or you can do it with fabric. Your fabric will also absorb some of that water. Okay, and then once you get it good, you're going to push your thumb in gently to like the middle of the pot, the middle of the ball. Okay, they're good? And then you're going to
a little bit of clay.
You need a little bit more clay.
Yeah.
That might help too, huh? Got your hole? Okay, and you're going to go real slow, okay? Really slow. Don't go too fast. I know you're trying to catch up. But just go real slow. Work your clay between your fingers and your thumb very gently. You don't want to press too hard because then that'll make your clay too thin and it'll fall apart again. How's it coming? Looking good? Awesome. Yep. Slowly working your way up to the top of the pot.
It's going to take a little while.
Very gently pressing it, not too hard. Our clay is very sensitive. It's kind of like you're massaging the clay. You get a nice little massage.
It's getting a little tough. Not so fast.
I also made this one. It's a heart.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. That's great.
It has to be a pot.
Yeah, so whenever you make your pinch pot, you can start manipulating it. Shape. Almost got to the top there, Madeline. Is it good? How thick are the walls? Are the walls a nice thickness?
Yeah, but let me just a little go more.
It's a little way too wet in the middle, so
How are you doing, Carolina?
good.
Let's see.
My face is just supposed to say.
Oh, very nice.
But I need some water.
Okay, not too much water, okay? So water is good, but too much is not good.
Jess, I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
We decided to put newspaper on our dining table to protect the table, but it's not really working.
Yeah.
What do you recommend? Like a vinyl tablecloth or?
I recommend canvas fabric.
Canvas? Okay.
Yeah. Or like any kind of fabric, like a muslin or something.
To put on.
Did they get muslin?
Sarah, yeah, Sarah, you guys have muslin in your bags, but I can bring over some fabric scraps if that's helpful later to.
Yeah.
This is a little
Yeah, I'll text you later.
Yeah, that's fine. Just let me know. I've got tons of fabric at my house.
Okay.
You could also lightly spray the newspaper Because what's happening is because the newspaper is dry and then your clay is wet, it's going to naturally, the newspaper is sucking all the water out of the clay and it's sticking to it.
Right.
So you could wet the newspaper and that might help for it to not stick so much.
Okay.
Mm. This can make two.
Sarah, we also use like, you know, like you have like little whiteboards or things like that. You know, we have these like fabric book covers that somebody donated a ton of. That we were like, what are we going to do with this? But we use it for our ceramic boards. It's like a polyester blend, something or another, but it works great because, you know, we're always in transition here at the studio. So these are just stuff that we can bring out for ceramics. And you can even, like, once they do their creations, move it away and dry on the board. Let me see if we have some extras of these too, because these are real handy.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so when you guys are all done with something, you'll want to find a nice place to set it. Did you get it, Madeline? Yay!
It's fun, and my mom's helping me with the second.
Awesome. Moms are great. So you'll want to place it not in the sun, and you want to place it somewhere where it's not going to get bumped or broken. Okay, and I usually have like a little board to put it on. You could probably put it on like a paper plate or something like that would work. Okay, so you're going to put your pot on a plate, and then if you get a Walmart grocery bag or some kind of plastic bag, and you're going to put that over the top. You can kind of like tuck it around the pot. That's going to help your pot dry evenly. Because if your pot, like say if I put this in the sun, and this part is what the sun's hitting, this part is going to dry faster than this part, and it's going to start cracking. And we don't want it to crack or break or anything. And the plastic kind of helps keep the moisture in so that it dries more evenly. And then in a couple days, it should be pretty dry. And if you're wanting to still work on it or add things to it, like you're not done with it, but you don't have time to work on it right this moment, you can get a little spray bottle and just spritz it a little bit just to keep it wet.
I made a third pinch pot for my doll.
What? That's awesome. Your doll's going to be so happy. That is so fun. You guys can have tea parties together now.
Yep.
Yes, once you get into the pinch pot craze, there's so many fun things to do. You can make a lot of them. Okay. So, anyone else have any questions before we finish up? Anyone need help with anything before we go?
No.
Not me.
Not you? You're good, Sam?
Thank you.
I have one question.
Yes, sir. What is that?
What are we making next time?
Oh, that's a great question. Next time, we're going to be making coil pots. You guys might have made coil pots as well.
Yep.
But I'm going to teach you a lot of different coils to make. and we can make something a little bigger than our pinch pots with coils, okay? So next week, I would like for you to find like a bowl from your kitchen, and
A big bowl or a small bowl?
What was that?
A big bowl or a small bowl?
A smaller bowl. A small bowl to start with would be
And she
perfect.
meant tomorrow, not next week.
Oh, sorry, tomorrow. Usually I teach my ceramics class like once a week for like 4 weeks. So this is different for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow, yes, you're going to need like a small bowl, like a cereal bowl or a small mixing bowl or something like that. And we're going to be creating a coil pot inside of it. So you'll also need some saran wrap, which you probably have in your kitchen as well. Okay? And that will help us create our coil pots. Okay? You guys got that? So you're going to, when you're done with your pinch pot, you're going to place it on a paper plate or something and cover it with plastic so it can dry. And then tomorrow you're going to have a bowl and plastic wrap and all your other tools.
Okay.
Got it? We good? Any other questions? Joaquin, we're good? Did you get your ball to stick?
Huh?
Did you get your ball to stick?
Yes.
Good. Awesome. And Crocker and Sawyer and Archie, you guys are good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Fun. Ready.
Awesome.
Okay.
Did we start it?
You guys have fun?
I had fun.
Yeah? Lots of fun? Good.
Yes, I
I
gave it
did
a 2 thumbs
too. Thank you so
Yay.
much for playing with me.
If parents, if you have any questions, you can just email me. Like, if they're still working on this and you need assistance, just email me or text me, and we'll work through it. Otherwise, we'll see you all tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
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 Bye.